Hi everyone and welcome back to the Colour Cave where we like to play with art stuff. My name is Jem and I have bowed to peer pressure. Today we are going to try some lino cutting and printing, which will be interesting. As a special extra, we have a gift from the lovely people at Artful, and obviously their last box was a lino printing box. So if you want to find out details about that, you're going to have to hang about to the end of the video, and it's quite a long video today, but I promise it's worth it. In addition to that, I'd just like to give a shout out to Tracy. Tracy was the winner of the Kirby Rosanna's Worlds Within Worlds book from our 5k giveaway. Tracy, I still haven't heard from you. I need you to get in touch with me so that we can get your prize sent out to you. So if you could do that ASAP, that would be great. All right, let's just get straight to top down view and we can get going. Here I have all of the lino cutting and printing stuff. Now this is a mashup of the Artful Quarterly box and also the Upcrate box from a bit further back. It's the same stuff, so I've just put it all in one box and we'll just see how we go with it. I have a very specific purpose for this today. One of the things I've been looking at for the stash shop is an ink stamp with the Colour Cave logo on it. If I could have a stamper, then I could reuse it. And that is something that if I get even halfway towards decent at this, I could actually have a practical and reusable use for it. So I would like to do that, but I'd also like to do a picture of some description as well. So that's what I'm aiming for. Whether we get to that stage or not remains to be seen. One of my main concerns with this box is that my motor function in my dominant hand isn't great. I have no feeling in these three fingers whatsoever. My motor function can be a bit unpredictable, so I'm quite worried about cutting myself, but also the amount of pressure and pressing we have to do. It's probably going to make my hands sore and or could go completely wrong. So this is going to be entertainment one way or another. For our veteran cavers, you will be familiar with this old boy. This used to sit on my desk way back when, at the beginning of my channel, before it got absolutely destroyed. It's like bobbly now if you touch it, but old faithful. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to take one of these and I just want to try out these different cutters, get a feel for them onto the linoleum, but also figure out what all the little cutting sizes do because there's quite a lot of them. And I don't think I'm going to be utilising all of these. I will try and do them in numerical order. So I know the numbers are written on them somewhere. So that's two. Right, let me just line these up. Okay, so these aren't strictly in size order, but they kind of are because they're different shapes. So let's just have a wee go at this and see what happens. So we unscrew this a little bit. Right. Okay, so let's see what happens. Keep my fingers out of the way. Right, okay. The first thing I notice is you have to put quite a bit of pressure on this. I can tell you right now my hand is not going to hold up to this for very long. Okay, so the more you press, the deeper it's going to go, and that's taking out a really fine sliver. At this point, I'm quite glad I've got two handles, because I think once I start doing this, it's going to be fiddly to jump between. Oh, okay. Oh. Okay, it's really difficult to get the angle right there, angle right here. I think whoa. Okay, that's going to take a bit of practice. Obviously, we want the edge of the blade on the left-hand right-hand side of the gouge. Ow, there we go. There's the first injury. To be shown, because if not, if it disappears under the linoleum, then you can't see what you're doing. This is going to take a lot of practice, but that is significantly wider than the number one, so I can see that why we're going to need all these different cutters if you're, if you're quite proficient and you're doing something quite complicated. For me though, I don't think I'm going to need all of them. Okay, I'm getting on better with this one. This feels a bit easier. There's not that much difference. Okay, so I'm going to start doing these in like a line of preference. What is going on with my autofocus today? So yeah, the number 2 wasn't so great. I liked 1 and I like 3. 2 seems a bit wayward for someone like me. Number 4. Okay, this one's going to be interesting as well. Because this is one of the big wide ones. Oh my god. Yeah, look how much that takes out. So that's going to be quite good for these larger areas as well. 5. Okay, I'm kind of... This is the one I'm scared of. It's like a scythe. Hi, Woo. Little Jack Russell's come in to say hello. Now, this is interesting because this goes to the points to the left. So I'm just wondering if you... See, I think this is made for right-handed people, this one, because you would push that way. I don't really know what to do with this. Okay. I think this is made for right-handed people. That's just not doing anything for me at all. I don't even want to try with my right hand. If I got this the right... I do have it the right way round. Yeah, that... Is this more of like a... Right, okay, I don't know what to do with this, guys. I'm sure somebody in the comments will tell me. But that's not doing anything for me. See the things you make me do. Okay, number 6. So this is quite flat compared to the other ones. Again, I don't seem to get on so well with these flat ones. I seem to want to go too far in. Yeah, okay, I find that very difficult to manoeuvre. Yeah, I seem to, just the selections that I've made, the V-shape ones seem to be suiting me a lot better. Yeah, right, here's the big sort of U-shaped one, the big one. So I can imagine you can make quite deep cuts with that, and because the sides are high, you could go quite deep in. Yeah, right, see, I find that really easy to use, like really easy, and I'm finding I don't have to press so hard as well, but you could go over the same groove and keep taking layers out, layers out, layers out. Yeah, I like that a lot. I think that's the kind of one I would use to get rid of the dead space around the outside, apart from number 4. 8's a really deep V shape as well. Oh, yeah. See, that one's pretty good too. Okay, number 9. This is quite a severe V shape. Again, you can go a lot deeper with this because the sides of the cutter come up much further. That's quite a neat line as well. I like that one too. And then finally, number 10, another V-shaped effort, just slightly wider. Oh, goodness me. This is, I'm so glad I put this down. I've taken 2 chunks out my mat already. So I think looking at them, I mean, realistically, how many of these am I going to have to use for what I'm trying to do? 1's going to be a definite. I think maybe 3 as well. 4 seems really, really deep. So I'm not so sure about 4. 5 and 6 are out the question. 7 might be good because it's quite flat. That would help me to get a bit more of an even surface. 8's fun. We'll include 8 just for giggles. And 9 and 10, I'm not really all that sure, to be honest. I think initially it's just so I don't overwhelm myself. I think I'm going to stick with these 4 because that gives me quite a variation in the sort of line width, but also it gives me these sort of larger ones for bigger areas. So what one was that? That's 10. 10's kind of... What I can do now is I can chop this off and that still gives me this whole bit to use. So that's quite cool. Okay, so the reason that I wanted to do the logo and do a picture is I want to try 2 techniques. The first one I discussed in the last video is that of drawing straight onto the linoleum. And the second was the use of tracing paper, and it was Jamie from Artful that said to me the reason that you would use tracing paper is in the example where you don't want a mirror image of what you're doing when you want an exact copy. Because obviously if you were to put lettering, for example, and draw straight onto your linoleum, when you print that, it's going to come off backwards because it's going to be a mirror image. So you have to use the tracing paper as an interim step so that it flips the image. So you're actually putting it on here backwards so that when you print it, it reads the right way. Which, when explained to me, makes perfect sense. So that's what we're going to do. So the first thing that I want to try, I'm really nervous about, maybe I'm going to split this in half again. I think that's probably wise, to be honest. Okay, so I just want to take, well, let's see if a hard pencil will work, because that means there'll be less graphite transfer. 2B. Okay, none of these pencils are going to do. God. Colour cave, no pencils. Okay, I want to see if a 2H pencil's going to draw on this. Okay, no, that's a no-go. That's too light. Let's try an HB. Yeah, okay, HB better. So I was thinking about a little scene, and something that's happened recently around these here parts is that harvest time is finished with. So I was thinking maybe we could do a simple little scene where there's a wee rolling hill on this side, and what we could do is we could get the tram lines from the freshly ploughed ground in there. That would be fun. And then maybe we could have a tree here in the foreground. I'm trying to keep the shapes simple, but not too simple. So you know me, I'll just try and try and see what happens. Let's have a wonky branch. Oh yeah, and then we could maybe have some. I'm just thinking about this as well. I have to make these shapes simple, don't I? Because I'm gonna have to cut around all this. So let's have a 7-year-old's tree. You know, they kind of look like clouds instead of having specific foliage. So let's have another little hill here, and that could just be a solid hill, and then we could have a little sunrise. I'm kind of getting vibes from again, probably UK people will recognise this, the Sunblessed logo, you know, with the sun in the background. Now, someone's probably going to moan at me for not measuring these out like I did with my last Upcrate battle, but I don't care. I just want them to be sunbeams. Oh, hey, do you know what we could do? We could have the tree and the 2 hills in black, and we could do the sun in red. Oh, that's a great idea. Oh, that's exciting. Right, now what I'm going to struggle with here is trying to figure out, I need to think in 3D here because I need to know what I'm cutting out and what I want to protrude in for the ink to stick to. So I'm going to bear that in mind, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm taking this smallest tip, which is the number 1, and I'm going to use that first just to like, see the way I map out colours when I'm colouring something like that, but on linoleum and not with colours, so it's nothing like it. Right, so the sun itself, we're going to make red, so we want that to be popping out. So what I want is an outline then. Oh my God. So what do you do when you want to stop? Do you just stop? Obviously, I'll get braver with this as we go, but I've never done this before, leave me alone. So there. Yeah, so this is just kind of like reminding me what I want to cut out. What I find interesting straight off the bat is that when I'm using these little shallow ones, you really, really don't have to press at all. And that's really nice because my hand likes that a lot better. So I'm going to be taking all of that out because I don't want that to have any ink on it. Okay, right, let's stick with the outline. I'm getting ahead of myself here. So that's going to be a sunbeam. I wonder if I'm supposed to do this in like a continuous line. Like, can I go around the corner? Oh, I can go around the corner. Oh, watch your hand, Gem. Come on now. Yeah, that looks a bit wonky though, but okay. I want no ink on these lines because the hill is going to be black, but I want you to be able to see the tram lines from the ploughing. We want to take that out so it doesn't get any ink on it as well. Right, come on, I want bets in the comments. Am I going to end up with an injury here? I think the odds are fairly high. Ah, that was nearly my entire hand. Oh wow, I've made a mark. That's probably going to show up, isn't it? Okay, I hope you can see that so far. Right, now that's a sunbeam, that's the sky, that's a sunbeam. Right, I'm going to try and do this part all in one again. See, I wonder if I can just make a right angle cut there. Oh. Now, I've hit the tree. Okay, this is a bit easier. Ooh. Oh, that turned out better than I thought. Okay, so it's actually quite easy to go in a continuous line. Okay, I can tell you straight off, I find it much easier to turn the linoleum than turn my hand. Now, that might just be because of the aforementioned hand issues, or maybe, you know, a lot of people do that. I don't really know about that, but I can see there's going to be a lot of talking to myself throughout this. Again, so there's bits that although I'm going to want them all covered in ink, I still need there to be a line of differentiation so that we can tell what's the tree and what's not the tree and what's the hill. Okay, so there's the hill. Now I can see straight away, if you look at the left hand side of what I've done and the right hand side, I've got braver already because I've made some much deeper lines here than I did over here when I started. So that's quite interesting. Right, I'm just going to go around the rest of the outline of this tree and then I'll catch you back up in a minute and we're going to have to start taking gouges out of things. Alright, this is what we look like so far. I think I'm reasonably happy with this. So what I want to do is just start taking out the large areas first of all, because that makes life less confusing for me. I think I'm going to go with 7. Let me figure out, that's the sunbeam, so this is the not sunbeam. And this is really tough on my hand. I have gone as far down as I can go without going, like, you can almost see daylight, well, you can see daylight through it without actually having made a hole in it. Yeah, I don't think I've got the enough motor skill in my hand for this, because because I find it difficult to judge pressure. I'm going by the amount of pressure that's coming from my wrist and my elbow, as opposed to being able to feel it in my fingers. I can feel it in the palm of my hand as well, but again, it's just not that great. I am going to try and cut out the rest of these bits, and once again I shall catch you up afterwards. Okay, that was epic. That took me about 20 minutes, and I can tell you as well that although I'm left-handed, my right shoulder is sore, and it's because I've been pressing down so hard with my right hand to stop this slipping about. I did end up going in with my craft knife in here, just because there's some really tight spaces. So what I want to do now is just tidy up some of these lines with my wee teeny tiny cutter, and make these a bit deeper as well so that they stand out a wee bit more. I did get a bit fixated there on trying to get these bits as smooth as possible, but as you can see, the further I went along, the more I realised that I was going to be there forever and that wasn't a good idea. So went into let's just get on with it mode. So I've got this line down here where I've not just quite gone close enough into my initial gouge line, as it were. Okay, so I've got this line here, which I do believe is my very first line. And I just want to make that a bit deeper. Yeah, that's better. I did have a couple of slips there that I'm sure you saw. That's obviously going to show up on my inked version, but there's not, as my husband would say, there's not a right lot I can do about it. I've taken a gouge out of there. How did that happen? Christ almighty. Right, okay, I'm just going to see what happens now. This is going to be interesting, so let's get rid of all this crap. And I'm only going to need like a tiny little blob of this as far as I'm aware as well. And I shall use this little roller. Oh god, I'm having terrible flashbacks of emulsion in every room in my house. Which is still ongoing, by the by. Oh, this stuff smells horrendous as well. Okay, so apparently we want to roll this, and there is a pip here in it. Well, that's just marvellous. I don't know whether I'm being really... Oh my god. I don't know whether I'm being really stingy here, or... Cause, you know, I don't really... That seems like not very much ink to me. Okay, that looks a bit juicier to me. Right, let's do it. Yeah, that's much more of a vibrant colour. Okay, I've got one ridge there that's clearly too high because it's picking up the ink. So this is just a bit of copy paper. I don't know where to move everything. I'm like, oh my god. So let's see if we can fit. No, is it wide enough? Damn it, I've just put my hand in that roller. It's not wide enough. Okay, so we do this. And then we're supposed to rub it. Somebody said with the back of a spoon, but apparently you get like actual tools. I could use this brayer, couldn't I? This one doesn't have any paint on it. I keep saying paint, I mean ink. And then we slowly peel it off, and then you get your result. Okay, very, very slight. That's not bad for a first attempt, surely. I'm obviously too stingy with my paint though, because look at all the parts where it hasn't done anything. So I want to cut out some of this. Man, I didn't think I could take any more out of there. Okay, so cheap copy paper here. Right, let's try and be less stingy with the ink this time. Oh, I've got a bit of something on that. I like the feeling of the roller on the actual linoleum. It feels really nice for some reason. That squeak is driving me absolutely bananas though. Right, let's try again. I don't think I want to press as hard on the paper, or maybe I wasn't pressing hard enough last time. It's not coming off. Right. That's better. That's quite cool, I quite like that. It's fun. It's better than the last one as well. Much better than the last one. Right, I'm trying just to get some red in the places where I want it red. Oh boy, that didn't go so well. But that's okay, that's fine, we'll live. And once I've got that, once I know that it's stuck, I'm going to lift the whole thing and turn it over. And I'm going to draw around this template so that, oh, that didn't go so well at all. I can use the black ink. So that's one thing I will say, the ink washes off really easily, and I've just got a bit of toilet roll here because it's the least fluffiest type of cleaning thing that I have. So I'm going to grab this black paint now. So it's ink. I would highly recommend this idea of water-based ink because I can't imagine trying to clean up something that isn't water-based. That doesn't sound like fun to me. So I'm trying to get the bits that I didn't make red. I'm sure somebody somewhere is going to tell me that there is an easier way to do this, but I think for a person that has never ever done this before, I think I'm being pretty adventurous. I really hope that you agree. If you're going to spend this much time, make this much mess and potentially injure yourself, you might as well make it worth your while. Do you know what I mean? Go all out. I don't know how I'm going to do when I get down here because I've already creeped into sun territory there. I don't want to ruin my sunrise, sunset, whatever. I don't know what it is. Try lino printing, they said. It'll be fun, they said. So now my idea is that if I line this up and then press down this way, then hopefully I can turn this back over because it'll have stuck to it. That's one thing. See, once you've actually stuck your paper to it, it seems to, you know, it doesn't slide about a lot. It seems to stick to the paper. So, right, okay, here we go. Here we go, here we go. Ba, 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 ba. Why is this not coming? Bam, bam, bam. Ready? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so my idea worked. It's a little bit rough around the edges, but for a print, I think that is really cute. Do I want this on a finished piece of paper? Not really. And this is my point about this. Like, yeah, it's fun. Realistically, what am I going to do with this? I will obviously keep this just for posterity, but I don't see the point in putting one of these on a finished piece of paper because I'm not going to frame it, or I might as well just keep this one. Anyway, on to more pressing and practical matters, which is much more up my street. I'm going to stick this off to the side now. So recently we changed the Colour Cave logo for the channel and the website a little bit. It's not too different to what it was before. The writing is supposed to look like an old-fashioned typewriter, you know, where the print's not exactly all there. And obviously, if we're going to do a stamping kind of thing, that's going to be the same idea. So I've got a selection of these here. I don't know why it's printed out 4, but it has. And I think that that might be quite a good size just for a stamp. Now what I'm thinking is, the we like to play with art stuff, there is no way we're going to be able to carve around that, like no chance. So I think if we just go for the colour cave and the pencil, even at that I think we'll be doing well. Now I have two thoughts on this here. We could do an inverse so that we're actually cutting out the letters and the dark parts of the pencil and having it as a square stamp. But I'd also like to do a round one just with the pencil in it, because that might just be fun, you know, as a little stamp. So what we want to do is grab a sheet of tracing paper, put that over the top, and we want to trace what's going on here. So I'm just going to do this as carefully as I can, which isn't very carefully at all, clearly. The thing I find about tracing is, even if you've drawn your own design, when you trace it, some of it seems to get like lost in translation, and I don't know why that is, but it just seems to lose a lot of its character, and whatever it is you've drawn becomes wooden. There is no way that I am going to be able to cut round this. No way. I should have done this backwards as well, being left-handed, because I'm just going to end up putting my hand in. So apparently a really good thing to do is to use a soft pencil, and this is so that you get maximum graphite transfer onto your actual stamp. I do have one of the Palomino Blackwing pencils. These are really soft. This is the Pearl one. So I'm just going to go back over what I've done. See, if I hold it up there now, you can see it looks quite dark. Okay. I think this is fairly ambitious. I'm slightly worried about this. I still think doing an inverted version would be better. So we want to put that right in the middle. And then we can just start going over the top of it. I'm pressing quite hard here, and it's just trying to get as much graphite as possible to transfer. I was going to say the foam there, the lino. Yeah, the lino stuff. Right, let's see how this goes. Okay, so you can see it's gone on there backwards, so when we stamp it, it will be the right way round. That is the idea. So what I'm thinking is, I would like to draw a box around this, and then we can scoop out the letters themselves rather than the area around the letters, and we'll have an inverse, and it'll just be a nice square stamp. That is my thinking. Whether or not it's going to work is an entirely different matter. I better use the soft pencil here, that would make more sense. Come on, Gem. Right, so I think this is just going to be teeny tiny, teeny weeny tool, and basically I want to be carving out all of this area round here, and then carving out the actual lines of the pencil. So I'm just going to do exactly what I did before, because I'm not convinced that this is going to go according to plan. I'm quite tempted to put lines down here as well, just because I can. See, now this is just risky. That and this tiny little cutter. Oh, I'm way off course there. Oh no. Because that's the bit that I wanted to keep whole. It's having too much fun there. See how I've gone up in a curve? Yeah, like the two lines in the bottom of my H have joined together. I definitely find it easier to turn the linoleum as well, rather than shoving my arm about. My problem here is I now can't see where I'm going, because it's that small. Okay, I don't see how this is going to be clean enough to not pick up everything else. So that's a problem. Now, rather spending the time cutting all this off, I am just going to slice through it here. Okay, so for the test print, there just seems to be an awful lot of stuff here. I really need to get rid of this graphite as well. I think it's the print's too small. I don't think that's going to turn out well at all. But we can try. I think what we'd probably have to do is blow the sign up, you know, to be a bit bigger, to give us a bit more room for manoeuvre. And as I say, it looks really untidy. I'll be really surprised if it prints, but I can't dig any deeper in either, because all that's going to happen is that all the letters are going to join up. So I have a feeling that this is going to be a fail, but that's okay. I would know that if I was going to do something like this next time, I would have to make it a lot bigger. And the last thing after this, I'm going to try and do the little logo pencil, because I think that would be quite cool to stamp on the back of packaging when I'm sending stuff out from the Star Shop. There just seems like an awful lot of ink on there. It smells horrendous, it really does. I don't want to press too hard here in case it goes down into the cracks, because as it stands it's not going into the cracks. We can see the logo there quite clearly. I may have just got away with this. Right, let's try. Okay. Give it a rub. Okay, here we go. That's not bad for a first attempt. Ah! It's not straight. I must have been going off on an angle there, but I'm moderately impressed with that we got that far. Look, that's not bad at all. You can see though where I've gone a bit astray with the cutter in places is like I've just added some extra loops and things. But yeah, that's quite impressive. I'm reasonably happy with that. Oh, that's silly. Right, I'm going to quick do the pencil now just because I would like to have one usable stamp. Okay, so I've got this print of the logo again, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw around something round. Yeah, so that's going to fit quite well in there. So we want that to be in the middle. Now you can take a lot more time over this, but I'm just going to eyeball it because, well, I'm just being Gem, let's face it. This is what we do. And I find it much easier, see when I'm doing stuff like this, when I look up at the monitor, I actually, because it's given me a proper top-down view, because obviously the way I'm sitting, I'm looking down at a slight angle because I'm sitting behind the camera here. Well, behind the desk, should I say, not behind the camera. Right, so if I just be careful when I lay this down, that looks reasonably centered to me. I am going to grab this soft pencil again. No, I'm not. I'm going to grab this HB first of all, and I'm going to carefully draw around this. So carefully, in fact, that I can't talk when I'm doing it. And then I want to draw around my circle without moving the paper, which will be easier said than done. I have to say, guys, this is like, I've been sitting doing this for about an hour and a half, and my hand is really, really sore now. Not fears, but my previous concerns have been correct, and I'm having fun, like I really am, I'm having fun, but I don't think that this is something that I would want to be doing on ever again. I was going to say on a regular basis. This kind of art is just not for me. It's very fiddly, it's very messy, and it's very hard on your hands. I think it might be useful for card making and stuff like that. I can see it, you know, if you're going to do something like a repeated pattern or like a border or something, I can see why this would be a great method to allow you to still keep your, you know, your physical artistry. You know, it's not quite the same thing as rattling up a template on a computer program. Why is that sticking? No idea. Right, okay, so this is the side that's going to go down onto the paper. So what I'm going to do is the same thing again. I'm going to take my, my really soft pencil here, and I'm just going to lay down as much graphite as I can on there without taking away or ruining my line work. And this goes against all instincts for drawing. When you're drawing curved lines, you never ever want to be pressing hard. You always, you know, normally because when you're sketching, you want some nice light strokes so you can erase them. So this is very counterintuitive. I haven't pressed like this since like maybe one of the first or second times I ever learned to draw. The old death, oh no, see that went horribly wrong. The old death grip. Right, there we go. I'm pretty happy with that. I think I want to put the lines in though that I did in the last part. Like I kind of want to add them in. So I'll put them in lightly first just to make sure that they're right. Right, so if I plonk this up in the top corner, about there. Fabuloso. So now I want to decide what's going to be black and what's going to be white. So if I go by this design again, if I want this white, this is the part we're going to have to take out. So we'll want all this away. And we'll also need to take away the outside edge and just leave this ridge if we want a black line, which is what we do. So all this has to come out as well. We want to take this part out, leave this part black. This is going to be black, but we're going to have to put the lines in. Right, okay, let's boogie. So again, I'll just do what I did last time, and I'll make that sort of, you know, that outline first, I think. So I'm going to have to do a line around the inside of this and round the outside of the circle. So that's quite interesting. So I think I'll give it a wide berth to start with. I can always tidy it up as I go, that's not a problem. You can see that okay. So I've got all this to get rid of and all this to get rid of. So I think I'm going to switch back to that other, this slightly larger one. No, not this one. Where's the one I liked? The number 4, because I can get around some much larger areas with that. I think I'm going to have to pour myself to Jack Daniels to edit this video, because this is going to be tedious speeding all this up. Oh, it's starting to look like a block of Swiss cheese as well. Right, I'm just going to take my little one now, and I'm just going to try and refine around these edges a little bit, because I feel like I've kind of made a mess of this. I haven't really, that's the thing. Like, I'm being... Genuinely, I'm just being picky because it's me. Like, I've never... This is the first time in my life I've ever done this. It's like, get a grip of yourself, Gem, and just have some fun. Again, as we would say, take yourself off into a corner and have a word with yourself. That means just, like, get a grip and straighten up. It's always better when you have a wee word with yourself. Oh. I'm trying not to rush as well, but it's very tempting to just be like... Whoosh. You want to go faster just because it's fun. I think this is what this cutter was designed for, truthfully. Oh, holy Moses. Right, okay, so I've just got this bit to get rid of now, and then that's us. We're ready to print again, and this will be the last one. This video must be of epic length. I don't actually know how long, like, the raw filming is. I've got a fair idea that it's probably about 3.5 hours. We'll do something about that for you guys before you see it. It'll be okay. I am absolutely awestruck that people do this for a living, you know, and make, like, their screen printers. Like, what? Wow. Just wow. Like, I'm having to pin this down now because it's so flimsy. Like, what have I done? What have I done to myself? That I don't know if you have heard on the news, but all the pubs in Scotland are not allowed to serve alcohol, so we can't go to the pub at all. Like, at all. And everything's to shut at 6 o'clock, as in 6 PM. So, yeah, definitely drinking at home. Definitely pouring myself a Jack Daniels. I will just sit in isolation. It's not a problem. Just drinking my own and be lonely. Right, we're getting there. We are getting there. Bring it on, sissy. I'm ready. Oh, wow. Right, okay. So, I think I'm going to have to... see the amount of clearing up that's involved in this as well. Balls to this. Let's just squeeze a wee bit more ink out, because I think this stuff's probably dried up. It's quite warm in the cave today because it's freezing outside. I've got the heating on. Not actually freezing, but it's we're definitely into autumnal temperatures. Put it that way. Ha! Ha 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 ha! My clean brayer here, the big one. Right, let's see how that's gone. Well, I don't know about you, but that looks like the colour cave pencil to me. I kind of wish that this section was joined up now where the tip of the pencil is, but it kind of looks okay with that. So I can see there's a couple of lines I need to gouge out there. You know, where the ink's picked up on the kind of higher areas. So I'm just going to scrape them off. And this is the really nice thing about this, actually, because it doesn't take much to correct what you're doing. This would be like an afternoon project, you know what I mean? You wouldn't sit down and do this for like half an hour. And again, one of the reasons why it probably doesn't appeal to me quite so much is because that's the amount of time to spend on something is a luxury for me. So probably why this maybe doesn't appeal to me quite as much. But let's go again now. It's still picking up. Even though that's not particularly high there, it's still picking things up. That one's definitely cleaner looking, but we're just not quite there yet. Oh, I've put a hole in it. I've gone too far. I've gone too far. Well, surely that shouldn't be picking up any ink then. This is the last time. I'm not doing any more after this. And I meant what I said. Everyone that gets anything from the cave, this is going to be stamped somewhere on the envelope or the box, because I'm not going through all this for nothing. I've got linoleum in my ink on my acetate as well. It's time to stop. Right, this is the last one. That's it. I don't care how this one turns out, and I'm going to do it the stampy way. It's going on that way. Okay, I'm done. I'm spent, guys. That's it. Oh, okay, so there we go, an afternoon of lino printing and cutting. I think you'll agree, for a first attempt, this isn't bad. My hand is throbbing, like my bottom two knuckles I know aren't right because I can feel it up here, and this is what happens. This is probably not something I'll be repeating. I am going to put some of these supplies up on the stash shop. They won't be up right now. It will probably be tomorrow, Monday. So if you're interested in grabbing a hold of some of this stuff, it'll be available in some sort of format. I have to say, as a box, this was pretty awesome in terms of what was inside, the contents and all the rest of it, as well as this magazine, which is absolutely chock full of ideas for this malarkey that's going on here. If it's something that you think is pretty cool and you fancy a subscription, we actually have a discount code available to us just now. When I say us, I mean the cave community. So if you would like to take advantage of that, you can head to the Artful website, which is this one, and you can put this code in the voucher code area and you will be able to get a discount. And that will get you 20% off an Artful box. Now, bearing in mind these boxes retail at £35, that is not to be sniffed at. So I hope that some of you will take advantage of that and you can get on the bandwagon with this quarterly box. I hope this has satisfied your curiosity, and I hope you're all really happy with yourselves for making me do this. I'd love to know your thoughts on all of these supplies and all the stuff that we've done today, and whether or not it's something that you think you might want to have a go at. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the support, and you guys always push me to do something new, so I've done it. Please stay safe, look after each other, and I will see you back in the cave on Thursday for a slightly more normal video. Bye for now, everyone.